My life, it always takes just a few uncomfortable minutes at the beginning before I can see my own live. And that's because I'm doing it through OBS. Okay, I see the live, I'm opening it. I'm turning my volume down because I hear myself a few seconds late. Cornite Care Bear? What's Cornite? He says I'm live. Someone bought me new pens. They're pretty cool. Someone who did her pen research bought me pens. This one is very smooth, and this one is very dark. It's I forget what it's called. It's a uni. I guess it's not gonna auto whatever, but it's the darkest. So I'm gonna be doing all my outline work in this from now on. It's very convenient. Very dark black ink. The Pilot G2 is just not the best of anything anymore. It doesn't dry the fastest, it's not the darkest ink, it's not the thinnest. My life is just like largely about pens now. It's really weird. And this one is just good and smooth for live work. Is anything real or is it all moo? Moo? Is it all moo? I guess it's all moo. If my options are, is anything real or is it all moo? I guess it's all moo. Moo is like this, right? Isn't it like this letter? Something like that? I don't know Greek. Wagwan, someone says just basic transfer and flow. Oh wow, catching Homath live. I guess that would be exciting, yeah. Let me work on the focus here. Make it all sharp. That's not the right direction. One of these days, I'll have like a good technology that I can use, and it won't just be just like a chintzy, just like watching me adjust my technology for the first 5 minutes. Anyway, D-Cruise, that's ETA, not moo. That's ETA? That's ETA? What's moo? Describe it for me. Dude Joe says, good day, saw you on Basecamp. Yes, I was on Basecamp. Those two are pretty cool. I haven't gotten like really into their stuff, but it seems like they are just, keeping their fingers on the pulse. Bob Vilzoom says, what do you do to relax? I sleep and I eat. Tom Webster says, are you single now? Yes, I'm single. My relationship last year was, I don't know how much of it you remember, but it was one of my fans, and a lot of my fans try to come after me. And I tell them all the same thing. I go, look, I'm a mess, and I haven't cleaned myself up yet from how bad things got a few years ago. And most of them don't want to listen, but that one in particular was just like worth trying. But of course it didn't work because I am a mess. And also she wanted too much stuff too fast. So, yeah, single. Which is not a surprise. People have asked me about Casey Xander before. Someone, I think it's Craig. Yeah, Craig Horner is asking me about Casey Xander. I think it's Xander. I'm not very familiar with him. I've seen maybe like 5 or 6 clips of his, and he always seems to be talking about like the worst of women in the hookup scene. So I don't know if he knows that and he's clear about it or what. Ordem Munde says, now that the crap is out in the open, do you think people will change faster? I don't know what crap you mean. What's out in the open? Like, what is it that you think is out in the open now that wasn't before? Can I pop this out? This is so annoying. Show chat. chat, plus engage with your audience, top chat, live chat. I guess I'll just leave it how it is. So Ordem Munda, I don't know what you mean by the crap. Like, what do you think is out in the open? Do you really think that there are people, or I guess I should say, do you really think that there are not people who still don't know what's going on? Do you really think that there aren't people who are still just going, that's a conspiracy theory. You're conspiracy. Do you think those people gave up on that? No, they doubled down, they tripled down. I don't know what you think is out in the open. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. Groundman says, thoughts on communism and fascism. Why do liberals condemn fascism but then are unwilling to condemn communism in the same way? Well, because fascism favors the strong and communism favors the weak. That's why. Because fascism is like, both ideologies, communism and fascism, are very much, we make the rules and you don't get to argue, like we crush you if you argue. And the opposite is, liberty, like a free society, like libertarians and the way that America was designed, where people can, for the most part, do what they want. And it's only when they really start infringing on other people that people come down on them. So communism, if I could do the sickle and the hammer, I don't remember where they are in relationship to each other. I guess that's not it. It's a retarded hammer. So communism and fascism is just like the sticks in a pile, right, with an axe. Communism is like, it's just sort of all of us people down here, we get stuff from the collective, or at least they think they do. They never actually do. But they're very foolish. They're very foolish, weak, stupid, evil people. So they believe that they're going to get like free money and, just like time to write poetry and stuff. Once they get their communist government, it's all going to come down to the little people. And then fascism is structured entirely the other way, where the people down at the bottom, like, you have to work your work-a-day job and everything, but the people at the top are like, we make all the decisions, we get all the money, we're in charge of the corporations, everything like that. And, I haven't, like, I'm not a historian, I haven't done my studying. I'm pretty sure that people are happier under fascism than under communism, because these people, when they get power in this system, are they able to and willing to take care of the regular people more, whereas in communism, when the people are told, oh, you'll just get everything and you'll be in charge of everything, the people up here just sort of keep everything for themselves. That's my impression of it. I'm not a historian. This is not history advice. Please consult a librarian. Advice. But yeah, it's because they're dumb, Groundman, because they're stupid. It's because they have all of the examples of communism that they'll ever need, and they just don't want to listen to it because they just go, but I want free things. I want them for free. Josh Smith just says, just sent money. No question. Thanks, Josh. Let's see, top chat. Fan funding. Let's see, supers and highlighted membership messages show up here. If you change filters, this filter will only show your last 100. Fan funding messages. That is so weird. What do you mean change filters? Live chat, top chat, fan funding. Last time I missed some questions, and I don't know how that is possible. Moderation activity, timestamps, reactions, pop out, chat, send feedback. Anyway, Rubicon Ron says, how do I explain to older people that relationships and dating don't work the same anymore? Oh, don't bother. Why do you need to explain it to them, man? Do you need them to understand so that what? So that they'll buy you a plane ticket? So that they'll what? Get you a better girlfriend? Like what role are they playing in you interacting with the dating market? Why do you need them to understand? When my boomers, the boomers in my life, or who used to be in my life, I don't talk to them anymore, but when the boomers in my life would just refuse to listen, when I would say, when they grew up, like, I'll just draw them being very smug. Just draw them like talking about the good old days. What you need to do is right? Um, make him pointing at himself with a hand on his hip because he knows everything. When you tell them, let me get some light on this. When you tell them, but now times are, like this, they just don't hear you. When this goes into the mind of the boomer, they just imagine that like you are too stupid to recognize square. You're just too stupid. You're just too dumb. What do you mean triangle? Nope, that's just you just need to figure out square. Nope. Um trapezoid? No, you just need to figure out square because that's what I did and there aren't any things other than what I did. So, especially if they're boomers, like if you're talking to boomers, that this is what's going on in their mind. I'll finish the face so this is more human. So yeah, like how do you get them to understand? They don't want to understand. They want to be right. They don't want to understand. They want to be right. They want to go, me, I'm great. I have money. I have a house. I have stuff. And I am stuff. And you're not. And me. And not you, not you, not you. So, like, give up on that. Give up on getting them to understand. Hope that helps. Whenever I try, they look at me like I have two heads. Yeah. Yep. They can't figure that out. You have to imagine it like you discovered a different kind of fruit. Like let's say that you've never seen, no one has ever seen a dragon fruit before, and you're eating a dragon fruit and you're telling them, oh, I'm having a dragon fruit, and they're like, what do you mean? You mean an orange? No, a dragon fruit's different. Oh, you mean an apple then? No, like a dragon fruit, it's different. Oh, you must mean a banana then, because they only can define things in terms of what they know. And if you ever tell them something that they don't know, they're just like, no, you're stupid. That's what's going on in their minds. It's very miserable. To fight it, you just have to like let it go. Lord Emerick just says chicken. Okay. This dumb, dull eye of a chicken. I don't know what chickens' tails look like. I know that they have like legs. Bird legs and the curly things and the probably more like that. You didn't say draw a chicken, but I don't know, I just felt inspired. Maybe I'll color it in later. There you go. It's a disproportionate chicken. Groundman says, how would you describe your ideology? I wouldn't. I don't like to try to like put my worldview into a phrase or a word or something, because every time I hear I tried like Democrat. I never really identified as a Republican, but I tried identifying as a Democrat, and they say and do too many things that don't make any sense and look stupid to me. And I tried Libertarian, and they also do too many things that don't make sense and are stupid to me. There's this one guy on Twitter who usually has pretty good takes, but lately he's been going off about like how people should be able to put whatever they want in food, and it's the consumer's problem. Like it's your responsibility to understand what you're buying, and that's like a wild take. That's like wild. There's 30 million ingredients that could be in your food, and each one of them takes hours to understand. There's no way that people are going to have kids and jobs and also know what potassium metabisulfate is. That's like a wild. So every time I try to put a word to my philosophy, either someone else is already using it and then I don't like the way they're using it, or someone else starts using it and I don't like the way they use it. And then I gotta go, no, I'm not that. I'm not whatever that guy just said. So I wouldn't describe it. I just like to talk, I guess. I just like to talk because I enjoy when people light up and go, "Oh, you fixed that for me." I wouldn't call myself any kind of ism or Aryan or, I'm a I'm a this thing. I'm a BX square, Egyptian hieroglyph of an eye. That's what I am. Everything that I believe fits into those letters. I just don't want to do that. I don't like that. Ooh, these questions are stacking up fast. Okay, I better go faster. Mr. Playlist Man, back with another large donation. Hello and thank you. Says, why would men be supportive after becoming attractive? Oh, well, because it gets you a really good result if you want to get married, like if you want to have a real relationship, then it's the only way to get a good result. I'll finish the rest of your question first before finishing answering. Romance as an idea feels ruined by optionality. Girls may think I'm the one, but I know that I would be nothing to them like I used to be. They like who we become, not who we are. There's no such thing as who you are. I'm going to make a video. I'll show you a sneak peek since you always tip me so much. I made another packet that's kind of like self-maximize. I think it's even longer. And I've been waiting to have the time to make this video. I'm flipping through my stuff. I'm redrawing all my old... Oh, there it is. I'm redrawing all my old things. Like, this is from the Mystery Zone. I'm making it look much nicer. And I'll reprint these in my next book. And I made the drawings funnier and more fun to look at. Here we go. I'm making a video about the table, and I redrew the table, and there it is. And there's a whole bunch of, I can't get the light right. I'm blocking everything I can see. But, there's the table. And there's a whole packet of like an exercise and drawings and everything. And here's one of them. I'll give you another sneak peek. There's one. And the concept of the video is there isn't really any such thing as yourself. That's a silly idea. Once you really figure out what the self is, it's pretty silly to say something like, they don't like the real me. They like what I became. You are what you became. What else are you? Do you think that you're just like a magical ghost inside of your body? No, you are your body. You are your memories. You are your abilities. You are your opinions. You are what people see of you. You are the choices you make in clothing. You are the way that you make people feel. You are thinking that the real you is a thing in here, and then this you that people see from the outside is not real. But that doesn't make any sense because you are, I'll just go you. You are what people see. You are how people see you. You are what you think about yourself. You are your body. You are your memories, everything in your mind. You are all of those things. So when you say, oh, these girls only like me because I got a lot of money and muscles and stuff, well, right, because that's you. You changed. The things about you changed. And when the things about you change because you are the things about you. There's no, like, secret mystery ghost that is the real you. That's just like floating around in there somewhere. You are the sum of the things that can be observed about you by yourself and other people. That's what you are. If you want to say what you are, you have to point to something, like an ability or a characteristic or a history or a relationship. I am someone's son. I'm someone's husband. I am someone who does this job. I'm 5'11". I have, whatever, a hammer. I'm someone who has a hammer. You have to point to things that you can see. If you're talking about something you can't see, that's not you. That's an idea of who you are. So when you say romance feels ruined by that, you got to turn that thought around. What you have to start being in your identity is you go, oh, I got muscles and money, and girls liked that, and so they like me because I am those things. I am the ability to be in shape, and I am the ability to have money. I am that. There's no me that's not that. So they do like you. And then everything's fine. And then romance is real again. I hope that makes sense. Groundman says, thoughts on environmentalism and climate change? I don't. So I'm a very, very environmentalist. Like, I hate pollution. I hate when people throw like every time I see somebody throwing garbage somewhere, I have felony thoughts. I have a problem with that. But I don't know, and I really hate it that every time I eat fish, there's mercury and plastic in it. I'm really, really mad about all that. But I don't know that we're changing the weather with our cars. So like soda cans floating in the ocean, bad, definitely. Right? Bad. But are we, like, does it make there be like less clouds? I don't know. That's a bit far-fetched, I think. It's very easy to use that concept to manipulate people politically. Oh, I'm making the temperature go down by giving my money to Joe Biden or whoever. I don't know if I believe that. It's very difficult to understand. You just have to trust experts because the math is just more than anybody has the time to do. In my opinion, Groundman says, it's a good cause hijacked by bad people who want to restrict personal freedom. Maybe. I just can't, I can't tell you. I will never be able to tell you the degree to which human activity is changing the climate. I will never be able to tell you that. I don't have the time to become an expert, and science itself is like poisoned. We can't trust science anymore because a very large percentage of it is just wholesale fake. So, I don't know. I don't even know what the chances are that it would be fake. It's just a big, I don't know. I don't even know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know about that. I do know that a lot of science is fake, and I don't know how much of it. And I know that it can be, used for political purposes, but I don't know how to tell the difference between what's true and what's just political. Joshua Smith says, hey man, love your work. I am 45, married for 16 years. We have 5 girls. That's good. It's a lot. And he says, I watch your stuff all the time to get insight into what is going on in the culture so my girls don't end up like all these other women. God bless. Yeah, that's good. Watch their behavior carefully and don't get trapped by that, like, oh, my daughter wouldn't. Not my kids. That would be emotionally uncomfortable, so it's false. Just don't do that. But yeah, thank you for appreciating me and my stuff. A lot of people do tell me that they like use it to help their kids understand things and help them understand their kids, and that's great. That's fantastic. It's quite a outsized effect for a YouTuber to have, I think. Thank you, Josh. Ilyas Akyol says, how do you deal with people saying something that you believe is not true about them, e.g., someone saying they're mature even though they're 18 years old? How do you deal with it? It's kind of a broad question. How would you need to deal with it? Like if an 18-year-old said, I'm very mature, do you really need that person to agree with you? Do you really need to go, no, you're not. Say you're not mature. Do you need that? Can you just go, okay, you're so wise beyond your years. Here, take care of this child, take care of this family. You're very mature, right? So provide for all of these people. And can you like shingle that roof and, with your wisdom and your maturity? If you really need this person to know that they're wrong, which you probably don't, but if you ever were in a situation where you really did need them to know that, just like tell them to prove it, just go like, oh, we need your wisdom on the roof right now where the roof is leaking and we need your maturity to go solve it. And then they're going to say, oh, I meant I'm really mature about video games. And then they'll feel stupid. I think that's the best way to handle that. Because, you can't always change someone's mind, but you can prove to other people that they're full of it. So if you've got some 18-year-old saying, I'm so mature, and then you have like a couple other teenagers around him believing him, then you can give him a maturity to do. Do this maturity. And then he'll go, oh, what? Is there an instruction book? And then, then blown up. Low Saxon Dutch Crusader says, people talk about male violence, but almost all violence I've seen involves at least one woman egging it on as she feels she won't face consequences. Yeah, Chris Rock has an old bit about this. He talks about how like you can't hit women, but you can shake them, and he would talk about how women would get mouthy during arguments, and try to provoke violence from men so that they can use it against you. Like they try to say the things that hurt you the most so that you'll do something bad so that they can say, see, I knew you were evil, and then use that against you. And he said, well, I forget what it was, but just look it up. Just look up Chris Rock and like shaking women or something. Yeah, and people don't talk about it because women are coded as being infallible. They don't do anything. They don't do things. They're not doers of things. Things only happen to them. So here's another sneak peek at my quadrants that I'm working on. There are things that happen in your mind and things that you do. And then there are things that happen like culturally around you that, oh, I'm part of a culture that speaks English. That's why I speak English, right? I did not in my mind choose to be an English speaker. I just kind of grew up and around me everyone spoke English, so I speak English, right? And then the same thing, this is the physical world. Like I ride a bike for exercise because I grew up in a world where everyone was riding bikes. So this is like the way people think, and this is the way that we physically do things. So the way that people think about women is everything happens to them. And if you hear their philosophy It's like the culture made me, and that's oppression, and this is a social construction, and the system is set up for, and it's never anything that they did themselves. So yeah, like when a woman has a thought like I'm gonna hurt this guy and then takes an action to hurt him, well, why did that happen? It's because something came from outside of her to make her do it. It's just a way that the mind is wired that gives women the opportunity to, do harm and get away with it. Groundman says, "What do you think the collapse will look like?" It's happening now. I've answered this question many times, Groundman. The collapse is happening now. We are working a lot harder than our grandparents and getting a lot less. My grandfather worked 40 hours a week and he retired at age 55. He had 4 kids. He bought 2 houses. He bought a bunch of cars. I went to grad school. My grandfather, I don't think he went to college. I think he just went to high school. I went to grad school. I have no kids, no wife. I've bought 1 car in my life, no houses. That's a collapse, man. That's a collapse. We don't have anything anymore. It's not like there's going to be one day where the news goes, collapse. Today is collapse day. That's not how it's going to look. It's just that people are poorer and poor. Go to a city. Go to a city and look around. I live not in but near a city right now. And when I was there, I was talking to people about, every time I look at a place to live, I talk to people about like how are things going? How is it around here? And everybody I talked to said the last few years has gotten so much worse. So many homeless people everywhere, and it's all of a sudden it was very, very sudden. Like of all the places I visited, this place was the one that has the most people saying sudden crash, sudden downturn. Like a few years ago it was great, and now it looks like it's getting to look more like San Francisco. That's a collapse. That is a collapse. So just because you still live indoors and have running water, it doesn't mean all of those homeless people outside have it. There's more of them than there used to be. And people are not having kids, and people are not buying houses. That's incremental. It's not going to, like, a collapse doesn't have to be like same, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, death. It doesn't have to be that. You're in it. You're in the collapse. You're watching it, and no one's doing anything about it because it's slow. And everyone's going, oh, it'll turn around. It always turns around. It's never turned around. It has never done that. It'll turn around. All I have to do is nothing. All I have to do is be a silent, motionless coward, and everything will turn around. It's not going to. Let's see. Pixel Fiend says, what is the point of being in a relationship? Well, most people just want to be in one. You don't have to. Like, I don't think anyone is really, I don't think there's a lot of pressure out there for you to find one. I think most people want it. Also, it is the way that we structure society. So I don't know if I have that same drawing from before. I think I took it apart. Society. Did I tear it down? It doesn't seem like I still have it. That it? No, I'll just scribble a new one. I'll fix up my binder one of these days. Anyway, society is not made of individuals. It's not like this girl over here and her, handbag, and then this guy over here and his, like, video game, his controller. And then, homeless guy laying down on the ground. His arms just splayed out on the pavement. Ugh, smell. Bugs, right? It's not like society is made directly of individuals. This is how we think of it. This is how individualism makes us think, that society is made of individuals. It's actually made of the connections between them. Society is made of these things. In the same way that, like, you have atoms in your body, and your body is not made of atoms like directly. It's made of the atoms become, molecules. I don't know how to draw a molecule exactly. I don't know which one this would be. OH and whatever notation. The atoms become molecules, and then the molecules become, whatever, proteins or something, like a folded protein, and then that becomes a cell, and then the cells become tissues. Like, I'll just draw a liver, becomes that, and then your body's made of that, right? People think that society's made of individuals. That's like saying your body is just made of dust, and it's not. There are orders of organization in between. You start with, you got atoms, molecules, more complex molecules, proteins, organelles, cells, tissues, and then the body. The reason that people generally, are in romantic, or at least maybe romantic isn't the right word for it. Like, some people just get arranged marriages. And the reason that people are in those relationships is because if you don't create those relationships, then you just get more of this. You get everyone just is outside laying on the ground, because no one cares about each other and takes care of each other. It's the relationships that matter. You can't have a society that makes any sense if you don't have families. You can't just have a bunch of video game boys and cat ladies at home, and it's like, oh, society is... No, you're just pets at that point. You're just property of the system at that point. What's the point of being in a relationship? If I need to have everything to even be qualified to women, then what do I gain? It isn't 100% about what you gain. It's also like you gain being a building block of society. It's reciprocal. So, society creates things that you use, and then you get in the relationship to build a society, which then creates things that you use. It's very abstract. If you're thinking about it directly, like this woman, these women are kind of mean, and so what do I gain by trying to impress one? Well, that is the eternal question, right? Like, the women that I've met in my life a lot of them have been really, really regrettable. A lot of them have been very regrettable, because it's like I start liking them, and then they tell me some disgusting thing, and I have to go, yeah, no, there's no way that I'm going to hang around you if you're going to do that. And they go, but it's whatever year it is, but it's 2021, but it's 2019. And it's like, yeah, no, I still don't like that. I don't care if it's like 5 o'clock or Tuesday or what. I still don't like the thing you did. I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm working as hard as I can to get people to stop being that way, but they're not all going to do it overnight. You just have to make yourself into the kind of person that the kind of person you wants. You have to be, like, if you imagine the girl that you would want to meet, and she's all happy to see you, right? If you imagine that person, who is it that she wants? You have to be that. That's all you can do. Your question about, like, why should I get into a relationship and what's the point and what do I gain? Don't worry about it. Just be the thing that the person you're looking for would want. Don't worry about getting into relationships. Just be the thing, and if the person shows up, then start. And yes, I understand it's a lot less likely than it used to be. That's kind of what my whole channel is about. It's kind of crazy how many women are like, I'm going to be a violent whore, and if you don't like it, then the problem is you. It's wild how many of them are like that. So I don't know what to tell you. It can't be emotional support because if I show weakness, they'll be icked and leave. Well, they're not all like that, and I think you know that. You know, they're like everything that let me get out. I've been doing a lot of drawing. I've been doing a lot of fixing up my binder. I know I'm not making videos fast enough, but it's kind of because I'm preparing to make videos faster. So, where did it go? That's not it. Well, it was something that was supposed to go on here. It was supposed to be a guy standing on top of one of these, and he's looking down at this and saying, this is the most true. And then there's a girl with like pink hair standing over here and saying, well, what about this? Most of the principles that I talk about are like the most true. That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is how things are. But even if girls are bad these days, there's still some that are like the worst and some that are not the worst. So when you say, oh, they'll get icked out, they're not all identical. Times are harder, but if you want times are harder to mean that you should give up, then I don't know what to tell you about that. It's not my decision if you give up or not. I'm just telling you what to do if you don't want to give up. And I'm also telling you what will happen if you do give up. Like if everybody gives up, we're probably like we might all die violently or starve outside in the cold. It might be really bad. If everybody just goes, I don't care, I'm not doing anything, it might be really, really gruesome. So you could do that if you want. I don't think we should do that. But you know, the point of being in a relationship is that it's what people like, it's what animals do. It's what people and animals do. It's the way that we reproduce. It's the way that we keep things going. And the fact that it doesn't work as well as it used to can't just mean to you, well, that's over then, and I'm going to just play video games. That just doesn't make any sense. Nothing good is coming from that. It's just like you have a harder thing to do, but if that means that you're not going to try to do it, then that's like just it's like a foregone conclusion that you've decided. Lord Merrick said, thanks for the chicken. It made me happy. Oh, good. It was a very quick chicken. The beak came out pretty good. I guess chicken beaks are just like one, they're just two lines. It looks like a chicken beak to me. I'm not sure if I got it correct. Sneed World said, why do you think women have so many tattoos now? Because they think that that showing that they're experienced is like powerful. They're being masculine. They think that being masculine is good. They're trying to be men. And they respect men who have experience. So that men have like tattoos and they've been all over the world and they know a lot of stuff. That's why women love to talk about how much they travel. Oh, I love traveling. I love going everywhere, because they respect men who have been a lot of places. They respect men who have a lot of, markings, a lot of I've been somewhere, I've done something, there is something about me. and they think that they are earning respect for doing that as well. They think that that's a sign. They think other people are looking at that and going, "Oh, she must be amazing and powerful. She's got so many markings on her. Those things must reflect accomplishments and beliefs and like characteristics of her, and it's not just like scribbling on yourself with a Sharpie." Um, they believe that they're going to be respected for it and liked for it in the same way that they like men who are experienced. It's a form of, it's signaling experience. That's what it is. Tattoos are signaling experience. That's why when you see like young, skinny kids with no experience in life and they've got tattoos, it's like, come on. That's that feeling that you get. Like you don't deserve tattoos yet. You haven't done anything. That's what women are trying to do. They're like, I'm tough and I'm competent. And I've been everywhere and I know things. And they think that men are going to see that and go like, wow, I want her to be my leader. And then even if men do see that and they do react that way, then they're disgusted with those men. It's a very backwards masculine thing to do. Ground Man says, why do liberals believe all people are fundamentally the same and oppose eugenics? Well, eugenics is a complicated conversation because people have emotional reactions to that word. All that eugenics means is like, you means good. It just means good. Like euphoria means good feel. So you equals good, and then gen equals create. So it means good creation, good genes. That's all it means. But people will, throw fits and say that eugenics is all about torturing people and injecting them with dye to make their eyes green and, trying to like give people plastic spines or whatever. Oh, we have to make people into the shape that we think. Like people have these weird emotional reactions to the word. So the reason that they believe that people are fundamentally all the same is because most of them hate themselves and believe themselves to be inferior. Again, if we go back to where's the communism thing, they believe themselves to be down here. They talk about themselves like they can be from rich families. They can be from like millions and millions of dollars families. They can have trust funds and they'll be like, I'm the proletariat. Huh. I'm the working class and I'm the champion of the working class proletariat. They talk about themselves as if they are helpless and oppressed. And so they believe in equality because they think I'm here and my oppressors are up here. And so equality means I get more and these people lose more. It's the Cain and Abel story. Abel worked harder than Cain and had more than him, and Cain killed him because he was just like, I want to have more stuff, but I don't want to actually be good at anything. That's why. That's why liberals believe people are fundamentally the same, because they view themselves as inferior and want to take from people who they think are better than them. Kogan says, you work hard. Thank you. I do work hard. Oh my God, you should have seen me last night. I fell asleep like with a fork in my mouth in bed. It was weird. I was very tired last night. You work hard, thank you. Did you know Pareto principle? Yeah, I know. Well, I know about it. 1/5 of the tasks you do have the largest outcome. Identifying it makes work easier. That's not how the Pareto principle works. Because as soon as you identify which ones work more, then it reorganizes itself into the Pareto principle again. People think that that they can like take their business and go, the Pareto principle means that if we have like what would this be, 100, let's just do 100, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are not very even, and I got myself inky again. I should use a dry media for that. So people think that the Pareto principle means that if you have 100 people working in your company, then you go that 80% of the valuable work is being done by these 20 people, right? This 80%, and then 20% is being done by everyone else, and that is generally true. It's like generally when you get into bigger numbers, life tends to work out like this. That is a large amount of the value comes from a small amount of your customers or your workers or whatever, and then a small amount comes from a large number. So if you have like an MBA, if you're an MBA style thinker, if you're like a level 5, organizational thinker, you look at that and you go, we could use the Pareto principle to just like eliminate these 80 people, and then these people will do 80% of the work. But if you do that, then what happens is now these people are doing 80% of the work and these people are doing 20. The Pareto principle is built, it's baked into reality. It's not like you can just identify the good people and the bad people, because in an organization of 100, 20 will be rock stars. In an organization of 20, 4 will be rock stars. And it has to do with the way that they relate to one another. It has to do with the way that organizations work. It's not just like isolating the good people and the bad people. It's much more complex than that. I'm not sure if I could apply that to my work. I'm not sure how that would work in my workflow, but I feel like it would probably be the same. I feel like it would probably be a similar outcome. And it's not so much that like I don't know what to do. It's that there are some things that are really big tasks and I just don't have the time to do them. And then there are smaller tasks, and I sometimes get like a lot of those done in a day. And then I'll try to get this one done, and then I fail like that far through, and I go, well, I can't finish it today. And then I go back, and then I do small thing. And then another day I try to go, well, what if I try to accomplish it this way? And I get that like this far, and then I fail, and I go, oh crap, small thing. And then I need to like set up a day to do this all by itself. It's all confusing. It's not like I can just take my tasks and put them in blocks and say, oh, that one gives me the most money. It's very messy, but it's getting less messy with time. So don't worry about it, but thank you. Bennett Christensen says, how likely could a 50-year-old level 6 reach 7? Oh, okay. So interesting thing about getting older is I know I drew this once a long time ago, but I think I got rid of it because it was taking up a lot of space and I never used it. But here's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35, 40, 45, 50. There's not enough room, 55. You'll get the message anyway. When you're born, this is rate of growth, okay? Rate of growth. And this is of your psychological development. Rate of growth of psychological development, okay? When you're born, it goes whoosh, really, really fast, right? And then it stays pretty high until your early teens about, and it goes a lot lower, but it's still high, right? And you continue growing until like women usually stop somewhere around like 20, 21, and they end up at a very low rate of growth. And then men usually stop somewhere like 25, 26, and they're at this very low rate of growth for a long time. This is usually because they've started adult life They're either mothers or fathers, or they're working, or they're done with college. They're doing what they're doing now, and they're not thinking about like, how do I share blocks and how do I play on a team, and what do I want to do with my life, and they're not thinking about like, how do I grow, how do I grow, how do I grow. They're doing the same thing every day. And when you do the same thing every day, you don't grow. When you get to retirement, which let's just say it's 50 because I drew the graph wrong. When you get to retirement and you have more time to look back on your life, people start growing again. So if you have someone who is a 50-year-old and at level 6 really solid, how likely is it that they could reach 7? It really depends on like, what kind of person is this? What is their IQ? Who are they surrounded by? What are their beliefs? Are they open-minded? Are they willing to let go of old beliefs? Because they do have more time to start growing again. So there's kind of like this pit, this valley that most people fall in. Most people go like they're born at level 1 and they get to 2 within like a few months, and then they get to 3 at like age 2, and then 4 at like age 10, and then 5 somewhere in the teens, and they usually just kind of stay at 5. Some of them make it to 6, very few make it to 7, but then later they start growing again. So if I don't have any more information than that, just that this is a 50-year-old person who's at level 6, how likely are they going to reach level 7? Probably just a few percent. Because it's limited by, your IQ and your surroundings and your support. Like when I was at level 6, I had no support to reach level 7. And I had everyone around me dragging me back down. Every time I tried saying something that was like stepping into level 7, people would drag me back down. They go, no, that's wrong. You're bad. And then I read all the Wilbur books, and I went, oh, so there are people who get this. And I went, and just grew very quickly. Support is very important for people who want to grow. If they don't want to grow, then there's a 0% chance. This is a complicated question. Groundman again says, why do feminists let in immigrants from patriarchal cultures and then whine about people from their countries? You should read my Twitter for the last few days. Go on my Twitter and read my posts. It's because feminists from Western countries view us as the creators of everything, and they're like, you need to make everything fair. So there's, Western men and then Western women saying, you need to make everything fair, pointing fingers. You need to make everything fair for everyone in the world, because these people coming in from, over the border, they don't make things fair. They don't have power. They don't make things happen. They're just babies. Let's put like a big bow on his head for like a little baby. They're just babies with pacifiers. I'm a little baby and I want cookies and I want candy. Wah. I'm not an adult who can make my own decisions. They look at us like, you are in charge here. You need to make everything good for everyone, even these people who are wandering in from other countries. They don't know that they're doing it, but they view us as authorities. And they're like, you need to give equality to everyone in the world. And we're like, we don't have enough for that. And they go, well, then you're the devil. There's no such thing as not enough. You're just greedy. It really is like a badly maladjusted relationship between men and women. And we need to just kind of like stop listening to them and stop talking to them and just say, shh, we took your car away. We took your driver's license away. You're having a breakdown. We really need to say to them things like, calm down. Your feelings your hormones are making you, you like when they start saying things like that, just treat them like they're nuts, because they are. The life sentence 2278 says, for the boomer mindset, forlorn leghorn. Oh, foghorn. Um, I think that's what you meant, probably. Forlorn leghorn would be a very different character. Um, I say the good days are never coming back again. Uh, Foghorn Leghorn would be like a boomer? I guess so. He's like a country bumpkin boomer. He's kind of boomerish. I mean, Looney Tunes were boomer tunes. I think that's about right. But I can't remember. What does Foghorn Leghorn look like? He had like a big beak, right? And he have like a jaw. And they give him like a jaw so he could talk. Like big eyes. Now he looks like an anime character. I can't do this from memory. And he had like and he have huge shoulders. I guess that's close enough. I don't know, it's just a large chicken. Stephen Bagnell says, I read King Warrior Magician Lover, great, on Under Saturn's Shadow. I haven't heard that one. I missed out on the proper right and passages. Should I seek those missing milestones or is it over? You should. Yes, you should. It's not too late. It's too late to get the perfect result. You're supposed to do I guess I'll just draw another graph. You're supposed to be a child from like 0 to like 10, 20. Learned my lesson from last time I did 10s instead of 5s. So you're supposed to be a child from 0 until like a bit after 10, you know? So somewhere from like, I don't know, 11 to 14. You're supposed to go through the man thing. And this is like the amount of responsibility that you have, that you're ascribed by your people, is like 0 for the first few years, and then you have like little chores and stuff, and you got to clean your room, and they start getting little bits of responsibility, and then you get to the become a man part, and they put you up at like most of it all of a sudden. And something has to happen here that we don't do anymore, but there has to be something like they take you on a hunting trip, or you gotta jump off a thing or do a parachute thing or prove yourself somehow, hazing, like they do hazing in fraternities. And that's their way of proving, oh, you can suffer through something really, really unpleasant in order to prove that you can handle responsibility. That's like a desperate attempt to bring back the ritual. So if you can figure out a ritual to do to kind of like confirm this, then that's good. But what you're definitely missing, because none of us have it, and you can't just fake it, is this aspect of it. So you can go do the ritual, like you can go physically do a thing, you can jump out of a plane or whatever, but that doesn't mean everyone around you is going to go, oh, you did the thing, so you're a man now. We don't have that in our culture. We lost it. You did the thing and you win, so now you're a man. We don't have that. We judge you individually. Like every individual person will like look at you and go, well, he's like this and he's like that. Like Andrew Tate is a good example. People will say he has money and everything, so he's a man, and they will like agree that he's past the man line, right? But then other people will say, well, he did this and that for it, and the cam girls and everything, so we don't agree that he's a man. This is very fragmented. We just don't have the thing that you're looking for anymore. We don't have the ritual that makes everyone recognize you as a man, and that's a part of it. So you have to know what things you can do that will make people recognize you as being past the responsibility line. And I don't know how to advise you on that because society is lost. Let's see. Ordem Mundi says, for 1Q, their system is failing. What's 1Q? The general public is radicalizing to the right. I study psychology, and it's incredible how the integral theory completes many things. It is, isn't it? But my feelings prevent it from being taken seriously. I don't know what you mean by that, my feelings. Like, feelings are an integral part of life. Um, I don't know. Yeah, it's too hard for me to guess what you mean by that feelings prevent integral theory from being taken seriously. You have to include the way that people feel, or else you just don't have a grip on reality. You don't understand what's happening if you don't understand how people feel. I don't know what you mean by 1Q. I wish I could answer your question. You gave me a pretty good tip, but I don't know 1Q. For 1Q, their system is failing. The general public is radicalizing to the right. Yeah, sort of. I study psychology, and it's incredible how the integral theory completes many things, but my feelings prevent it from being taken. Yeah, I don't quite have enough information to answer those questions, but I hope that my reflection on what you said was sufficient, and thank you. Hikaru Swift says, is that Japanese for Taylor? Is that Hikaru? Ka, right? Ru? I can't remember. Was it? I don't know. I learned Japanese characters a long time ago, but forgot them. A female coworker of mine says, if a girl likes you, you will 100% know. Nope. Don't listen to women when they say things like that. When women tell you as a man things about women, just go like, that's cute. Thank you. To be fair, I need to be a little bit more, I need to figure out my language about that, because there are some things that women can tell you that you should listen to, but there are some things that you shouldn't. Like when they tell you what they're attracted to, they don't know how to tell the truth about that. And when they tell you like, for example, what you said is, your coworker said, if a girl likes you, you will 100% know. That's false. What she means is, if a girl likes you, she 100% knows. So it's the girl reading mind thing again. So she's over here looking at you, and she 100% knows that she likes you. And she's making this, body language and everything and going, haha, oh, you're so funny and everything, he. And then you're over here not knowing what's going on. Is she being nice? Does she like me? I have no idea. And this coworker of yours who said you will 100% know, what she means is, I 100% know when I like a guy, and so therefore he 100% knows, because of course he can read my mind. That's what she means. No, she's very, very, very wrong about that. If a girl likes you, you will 100% know. She will make subtle signs. Yes, that's true. Sometimes they're far too subtle. She'll always make ways to talk to you and be in your area. That it is true, but it doesn't always mean that she's into you. I have had girls do all of those things to me, and I thought, oh, look, very clear signs. And then I made like the slightest move, like the subtlest, like, hey, I noticed that you touch me a lot and always smile when you see me, and you always want my attention. So do you want to hang out outside of work? And she was like, I don't know why you had to take it that way, and then, didn't want to be around me anymore. So sometimes they will do all of those things and not like you. Yeah, definitely that's not a thing that women know about. They don't know what it looks like when they like you. They have no clue. Are guys less upfront? She'll make subtle signs and always make ways to talk to you. Be in your ears. Are guys less upfront? Well, I think guys these days are less upfront because they're afraid to talk to women. But generally, in throughout history, men have been much more upfront. Generally, men will do this. Generally, men will. They'll be like this up front. They'll go, "You had fun, you liked me." And then they'll say, I like you. I desire to talk to you. Like, men usually behave like that. And women will drop a handkerchief from across the street and just go, "I dropped the handkerchief. He has to know. He must know that drop the handkerchief means that I want to marry you. He must know that. Because why else would I drop a handkerchief?" So are guys less upfront? Maybe these days, because of how badly feminism has ruined everything. Maybe. But generally, no. Generally, guys are just very blunt. And women are like, "I don't understand. I put like a half of a McDonald's napkin in my back pocket and I turned 30 degrees to the right and he didn't know that means that I like him. I gave him signs." There's like, they think they're doing things when they're not. Christina Mays says, "Are you concerned about civilization running out of oil?" No. It fuels everything that we do. If we run out, everything collapses. Thoughts? I've never had a problem yet. They've been saying that oil is almost gone. It's almost gone. Almost. It's the last week. It's the last week. They've been saying that for decades. It was just like COVID with the 2 weeks, right? We're going to do 2 weeks. And they went, "Oh, how about another 2? And just another couple of months. And then just more. And then just more." And it's 2 years. They've been saying, "We're running out of oil. We're running out. We're running out." They've been doing that since like 1910. So no, I'm not worried about that at all. That is not something that keeps me up at night. It's just like climate change. I'm never going to know where oil comes from, and I'm never going to understand how it's made, and I'm never going to understand how much of it we have left. But I've never had an issue going to this gas station. Peace in a Southeast says, "Possible for different groups to live together in peace." Well, yeah, sure, but you have to have either the right groups or the right system. And we don't have that right now. Groups that are not compatible live together in Indonesia because they have harsh laws. And groups that are compatible live together in some places. Dubai, for example, has people from all over the world living in one place, and they just have, the rules are made by the Dubaianese or whoever they are. It's not a democracy. You don't get to move to Dubai and say, "I'm going to be the president of Dubai." They kick you out if you say that. So yeah, it's possible for different kinds of people to live together in peace if the rules make them. But if you have idiot rules like we do in America, where it's like, whichever is the largest number of people, they get to tell everyone else what to do. If you have stupid rules like that, then people cannot live in peace. But that's a bit over everyone's heads at the moment. It's not something that they're about to figure out. Alexa in the Forest says, "Really appreciate your videos. Thank you. What are your thoughts on body count for older women? The older you are, the less it matters. Like if I meet a 20-year-old girl and she's like, I have 50, I'm going to go, holy crap, you're damaged. Something's wrong with you. But if I meet like a 40-year-old woman and she goes, I have 100, I'm going to go, 40's 40. We all live. So yeah, the older you get, the more it's like, we're at the end anyway, you know? Everyone's got scars, whatever. But yeah, like if you're young and you have a huge body count, that's messed up. Like you did something wrong. What is purity in this age range? It matters a lot less. The older you get, the less it matters. Like there are women it's kind of funny. The older that I get, the easier it is to get attention from younger women, and the more it feels less worth it to date older women. Like when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I dated a handful of older women, like 8 to to 20 years older than me, like early 40s when I was early 20s, all the way down to like just 8 years older than me. And there were a lot of upsides to it, and sometimes it was fun, and it was like they just didn't require as much, and they didn't behave the same way. It was more relaxed, and they were okay teaching me things. They didn't need me to be Superman about everything all the time. But the older I get, the more it's like I don't value any of that anymore. I don't care. And the more that younger women look at me like 18-year-old girls used to look at me when I was 26. And they'd go, "Oh, you have a car and your own apartment? Wow, what a man." So, it's complex. It's complicated. The ideal system is that the guy gets a wife when he's young and then keeps her and doesn't cheat, doesn't, isn't mean to her later in life. What is purity in this age range? It matters a lot less. It's like, I don't know, a few dozen is kind of understandable by that point. White Lion, the collapse is intentional for the Great Reset. Yeah, for the most part, I agree. I don't want to like get into it because I don't know any details about it. I mean, I know some details about it, but I can't be like Klaus Schwab is gonna make the price of eggs. Like I don't know what they're doing. I know who some of the people are, like George Soros, you know, Bill Gates, like the stuff that those people are all wrapped up in. It's pretty clear that there's something fishy going on with it, but I don't know like what they do behind closed doors, so I just try kind of not get into it. Low Saxon Dutch Crusader says, lived in Istanbul with Russian Instagram model recently. That sounds interesting. Whole persona lifestyle she projects on InstaFake. Even as red pill guy, her fakeness surprised me. Oh, really? The fakeness surprised you? I would love to hear more about that. Like what did she do that was fake? Because in my impression, these are like very normal girls who you would not think would be Instagram models, who just like cover themselves with makeup and clothing and filters, and they get their phones out and they do the phone magic, and it turns like a normal girl into just like this weird, just this magic phone 10 that everyone looks at and goes, "Oh my God." I knew a girl, I have to slow down so I don't give out identifying information. I guess I could just say I knew a girl who did phone stuff and just had her butt out on the phone all the time. And like in real life, she was pretty attractive. But on the phone, it was like, that is someone who would never speak to me. This is someone who is like walking down runways all the time. When you see the photo of her, it's like otherworldly attractiveness. But when you see her in real life, it's like, okay, she's like 7.9. She's definitely attractive, but not ungettably. So I wonder if that's what you mean by fake, or if it's just like anything other than looks. But yeah, I do know what you mean. Japanese name. I don't know this one. G. I know that's G. Kata? Is that ka? Ta? What's this? I don't know what that is. Is it possible to get a hot girl without tolerating shit tests and tolerating annoying games like playing hard to get, etc.? It's a much less possible. Much, 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 much less. Because the hot girls have many, many more suitors. They're much, much more pursued. So if you get to, the point where it's like a rare kind of girl, you've got like men from every range coming for her. And so she's not gonna. I'll tell you in terms of my life. I don't have time for anybody anymore. I don't talk to my friend, my closest friend, as much as I used to. I've got people in my inbox all the time. I've got all kinds of girls who want to talk to me. They want to FaceTime with me. They want to fly and meet me. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. That's what it's like being a hot girl. If you're a girl who's like an 8, you've just got men everywhere. And so it doesn't make sense for me to just open a random email and go, oh, sure, I'll give this person my time. It doesn't make any sense. I have to be really, really careful about who am I talking to and what do they want and is it worth my time to schedule this meeting. I have to be super careful about that. These girls have to be careful about who they're giving their time to. And the way they do that is by testing you and putting you through all the games and seeing if you are the best of the best. Because otherwise, she's just going to end up with some rando. Just some guy who like doesn't know how to get status, doesn't know how to get money, doesn't know how to defend her, doesn't know how to provide for her. Those girls know that they're in demand and they know how to exclude. And if you don't like the part where you're being excluded, then that means that you don't want to compete. If you don't want to compete, then you won't win. Scott Melville says, any cutting advice for us already married guys? What do you mean cutting advice? Like losing fat? Do you mean cutting like the opposite of bulking? I don't know what you mean by cutting advice. If you're asking about losing weight, I wouldn't have any different advice for married as compared to non-married. Yeah, I'm just not sure what you mean by cutting advice. Sorry, Scott. Pixel Fiend says, I asked you why I should get in a relationship. Oh, yes. And you said it's that you get to be a building block in society. But why should I help support the society that hates me? Because if you can make it work, then maybe it doesn't hate you anymore. Like, society is you and you are society. You're not a victim of it. I mean, you are a victim of many individual things that have happened to you. You are. We are all, sometimes you get in a car accident that wasn't your fault or something like that. You are a victim of many, many things. But society is you and you are society. The more people like you who say, why should I do anything? I'm just going to give up. The more society will hate you and the worse it will work. So you can orient yourself towards, I want to fix it and make it better and do the right thing. Or you can orient yourself towards, why should I do anything? Why should I do anything for people who won't do anything for me? And then that's going to suck more energy out of society and it'll get worse and it'll hate you more. Like, you can go in the right direction or you can go in the wrong direction. And it might be more comfortable to go in the wrong direction for a little while. But then when you crash, when everything is gone, then it'll be really bad. I'm choosing to go in the right direction. And it doesn't mean getting taken advantage of. It doesn't mean that you just work and pay your taxes and let them give it all to whatever, illiterate got off a boat yesterday. It doesn't mean getting taken advantage of. It just means becoming better and treating people better and selecting people better. Like, it's not about sacrificing something for other people who then don't in turn sacrifice anything for you. It's about finding the right trade. And you can't find the right trade if there isn't anything valuable about you. So, it's the same thing I said before. I'll say it again. You should be working on making yourself the kind of person that the kind of person you want would pick so that you can have the right trade when you find it. And you're just going like, well, I'm not going to do that. Nah, because society was mean to me, so I'm just going to do nothing. Well, then you won't have what people are looking for when you find the right thing. There's no chance then. And then society will suffer more because you're not adding anything to it. And then the next generation the women will be even more crazy with more cat ladies. Like, you can go in the right direction or the wrong direction. And so far, everything that you've said to me today was like, well, why shouldn't I go in the wrong direction? It's easier and I don't have to work. And okay, well, I'm here to tell you how it works. I'm not here to like beg you to make good choices. Rubicon Ron says, you should make a shirt or something with the Unwin quote from your recent video. Yeah, probably. I have a merchandise meeting this week. I'm just oh my God, I've got so many meetings and contracts and I don't understand any of them. If someone knows like a contract person, like a contract lawyer, someone who I can show contracts to. I have a guy right now, but he's not explaining anything to me. Like I send him the contract and then he sends it back to me and I go, what does it mean? And he goes, just send it to them. And I go, but what am I signing? I don't know. So if any of you know anyone who could help me with that. So yeah, I have a meeting with merch people this week, and yeah, I can put the Unwin quote on. I think I have a note to do that already. So good suggestion. Fra planner. I don't know what that means. Foghorn, leghorn, boomer. Says, do you think that mothers become more overprotective of their kids when they think they haven't shown they can handle difficult situations or taken care of themselves yet? When the kids don't? Do you think the mothers become more protective when they think they haven't shown? Who's they? That when they think they haven't shown they can handle. Do you think that mothers become more protective of their kids when the mothers think the kids haven't shown the kids can handle difficult situations or taking care of the kids' selves yet? Is that what you mean? Maybe. I think that mothers like kind of always worry. I think that you can be the president or like a general in the army and your mother will still, like ask you if you need her to cut carrots for your lunch or whatever. I think that the mothering instinct is to, take responsibility away from children and protect them and nurture them. That's the mothering instinct. It's like to come in between the child and responsibility. And I don't think that necessarily goes away because the kid is like good at something. Not necessarily. But I think I get what you're talking about, how that can create a feedback loop where an overprotective mother prevents the kid from getting good at anything, and then the kid never gets good at anything, and so the mother says, well, then I must always be mother. And the kid grows up to be like 20, 30, 40, and mom is still making him, chicken tendies with a honey mussy. I think that's what you're getting at. So yeah, there has to be a what was it? The ritual, the man ritual. I forgot what it was. Coming of age. There has to be a point at which men come in and say, yeah, we're taking this child away from mom now because mom is just gonna make him a baby forever. That's why all the men of our generation are such babies. They're overmommed. Yeah. Oh, Xenia is back. Hello. Hi, you mentioned discussing relationship goals early on, which was my strategy for a long time, but only led to being misled and presented with false personas. Takes time to cut through this. Advice? Well, this is another thing. I guess I'm getting to know you, Xenia, because you tend to ask questions that we need to have a conversation about. Some people do that sometimes on the lives. Yeah, you do that like every time. So you're talking about discussing relationship goals early on was your strategy for a long time, but only led to being misled and presented with false personas. Takes time to cut through this. Advice. The major piece of advice that I give for that is on my most recent, effort chart, the situationship evasion chart, and it is right here. It's this one. So if you follow the red lines and you go into situationship hell, that's when you get attached before anyone has had any kind of discussion. And you can talk about things. You can do like the what are we, right? Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I want things to be this way. But then if you don't get the investment and you continue, you might just kind of end up it's floating around in here. So if you get if you have the what are we, oh, are we dating and are we, where are we going to go in our relationship? And he says, oh, I want to go here. I want to get to the end. But you skip over this part. You never really leave here. You don't leave this one. If you don't get him to prove it, like, you can't, unless you're, Elon Musk or something, you can't buy everyone an engagement ring. So you have to get him to do something that he can't do for everyone. You have to make it like that's what commitment is. Commitment is not saying the words, I commit to you. I hereby commit. You have to actually give something that you can't get back. That's what commitment is. So you have to make them do that, or else they haven't proven anything. And I don't know how to do that because people don't really get married anymore. Hang on one sec. There, are you proud of me? I learned to put myself on mute before guzzling water. So you can email me again. I might have time. You're fun to talk to. Bob Evans is back. Romance equals passion to suffer plus obstacle to overcome. Plus tragedy. Okay, passion, obstacle, and tragedy. Well, you're talking about romance in the literary sense. Romance in the literary sense and romance the way that we consider it today are very different things. When we say romance today, we mean like flowers and candy and lovies. Lovies, romantic. When we talk about romance in the literary sense, we're talking about a form of story, which it needs passion. It's desire. It's a desire of a person for another person, or for an adventure, or for a position, a status, or something. And then an obstacle, there's a problem. And in Romeo and Juliet, it was the families didn't want the kids to kiss or whatever. And then tragedy is someone dies or appears to die, and the other person dies as a result, even though they didn't have to, if I'm getting that story right. So that's a romance in the literary. I think earlier you asked about romance more in the dating sense. Do you think being romantic actually works unless the woman truly has passion for you? Someone asked about romance, but just joined. Well, I'm not sure how to answer the question because it sounds to me like you're conflating the literary with the colloquial. And if we're talking about the colloquial, if we're talking about the where are my old drawings? I guess I threw them all on the floor. Was this one from today? I think this one was from today. If we're talking about did I have a third one? No, that wasn't it. I don't know what's going on. I thought that I had drawn several couples today. I guess this one will do. If you're talking about it if you're talking about romance in the I like you and do you like me back sense, does it work if she doesn't have passion? No. In the literary sense, you can have one person having passion for another and endlessly pursuing them, and that can end up being a romantic story. But in the modern Valentine's Day sense of romance, no, it has to go both directions. It can't be romance if it's not in both directions. Because then otherwise, what are you doing? You're chasing after someone who doesn't want you to chase after them? That's not very Valentine's Day at all. That's not very puppy kitten, you know, candy lunchbox, happy snuggle playground. Like that's what people think of when they think of the word romance, and not like struggle like Romeo and Juliet. So do you think being romantic actually works unless the woman truly has passion for you? No. Someone asked about romance, but I just joined. Yeah, no, I'm not sure what more to say about it than that. Um, but yeah, that's a lesson that a lot of men need to learn, even some of the older ones who think that they know stuff about life. You need to know the difference between a woman who looks at you with passion and a woman who looks at you with tolerance. And that's going to answer like a lot of your questions about relationships. Okay, I think I'm nearing the end here, which is good. I'm getting a little tired. Cajun J says, what's a few suggestions on asking this girl out in a social group we both attend? I'm new to the group, she's not. Light interactions. Want to find that good medium of showing intention, but not over the top. Okay, have you seen the bird test? Have you seen that video? If you haven't seen that video, go watch it now. Figure out how happy she is to be talking to you, okay? If you're in a social group with her and you're new to the group and she's not, and you're interacting lightly, find lots and lots of opportunities to gauge how much she enjoys it when she's interacting with you. And if she isn't enjoying it a lot and she's like turning away and trying to find other stuff to do and doesn't look really involved and engaged, then wait. When the last time I was in a social group, there were girls who I met like a month or two in who were just polite to me and then went back to what they were doing. And then a year or a year and a half later, a lot of them were just like this. Oh, it's you. Hi. Every time I walked in the room, oh, it's you. I remember you. I like you now. It's been a long time and I've gotten to know you very well. And now I am happy to see you. I'm having a hard time drawing the face, but you know, it's a lot less like that kind of like that polite smile. Like, yes, nice to meet you. And now I have to go back over here. Bye. Good to meet you though. It's a lot less like that and a lot more like coming just like straight at you as soon as you enter the room. It can take a long time to do that. Let's draw like a 3D arrow to show the motion. It can take a long time to do that, or a short time if you are a very impressive person. But you have to actually rise in the social hierarchy in order to achieve that. So if you show up in this group and she's been around in it for a long time and you are just kind of like, hey, I'm new here and I haven't done much yet and haven't impressed anyone yet. I don't have any status, but do you want to like get pregnant? That she's probably going to go, what the hell? You got to go, you have to gauge how much she likes you slowly. And you have to also make sure you're doing stuff that she likes. Make sure that you're rising in the social status and that you're not just going there and being like, hey, I exist. That's enough, right? But yeah, if you don't know yet where you are in the hierarchy, then just gauge it by giving her opportunities to show how much she likes talking to you. Lot to pay attention to there. Johnny Punch Clock says, there's about 100 years of oil in Alberta alone. Oil companies try to create scarcity to increase profits. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Johnny Punch Clock comes out with this stat that I've never heard of, and it's like, okay, maybe that's true. I don't know, but here he is saying that he knows something that they don't talk about and that it might be true and it might not. But that's what I mean. For whoever asked the oil question earlier, that's what I mean. Who knows any of this stuff? Maybe it's Johnny Punch Clock and maybe it's not. Edward Joseph says, bottlenecked by physical injury I sustained in childhood. Oh, I see. I got the surgery fixed, but it's not a miracle. Doing a ton of mobility work and still can't get to where I want to be. Do you have any advice for people like this? Well, acceptance, really, because there's no magic potion that's going to make you physically better. So you have to know your limits and accept everything that you can do to get better, but then also look at how much better you've gotten and how good your life is going to be, and just go, okay, that's what I've got. You have to practice. Everyone has to practice acceptance with everything all the time. It's just more difficult for some of us. Like, I'm 5'11". I could be 6'2". Why not? I'm not making myself suffer over it. Why not? Because it's not that big of a problem. It's not that big of a deal. I'm a little bit fat right now, right? I could be thinner. I'm not making myself suffer over it. Why? It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a problem. What you have is a little bit bigger of a problem. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to make myself suffer over it then. There's no need for that. It's just bigger. Like you're just comparing how you are to how you could be and to how other people are around you. Don't do that. Just be like, I am where I am. I have this. My job is to go in the right direction. And as long as you're going in the right direction, you should be able to feel good that you're doing that. And you might never get where you're going. Maybe. But at least you're going there as intelligently and as quickly as you possibly can. And if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. And you can feel good about that. You don't have to be what they call outcome dependent. So what I'm talking about is outcome independence. You can be going towards the goal that you want without ever getting there and live a life with relatively low suffering because at least you're going there. At least I am trying. That's what this I'm gonna point to it every time I reference it. It's the red arrow that I use in everything. Ooh, somebody got me a new red colored pencil because my other one was getting small. The red upward arrow, that's what that means. That's like an outcome independent mindset. It means I'm always going towards what I want life to be. I'm always pursuing it, going towards it, making it happen. And even if it never gets there, I'm still going. That's my advice. And, sorry about the physical stuff. I know that is a difficult life. I can tell. Nicholas Austin says, why did you put The Stranger on your reading list? Oh, it's just a book that I read a long time ago. And I think it's important to read philosophy of various kinds. And that's just one that I read. Like I remember having a whole group about it, and we ran we had questions. We kind of like gave people homework. It was like an adult homework group where we read a thing and then discussed it. It's not necessarily that I think you need to read The Stranger. It's just that I read that book, and I would say that it is good for developing your understanding of philosophy. I wish I could put more philosophy on there. Unfortunately, most of the philosophy that I have read has been like excerpts and segments, and I don't generally sit down with philosophy books and read them cover to cover. Otherwise, I'd put more of them on there. Another Landa something says, what do you think is our future with AI? I don't know. It's too complicated for me. I know less about AI than I know about gasoline. Are we going to live in abundance with high UBI? No. UBI is that I can tell you for sure that what do they call it? Universal basic income. That's not going to solve any of our problems. If the government starts giving out basic income, people are going to turn into goblins. Because if you have all your needs met without doing anything, then people are going to become do-nothings. It's going to be like a WALL-E, but less cute. If you guys didn't see WALL-E, there's a future where the Earth is all trashed. It's all just dirty. put stink lines on the earth, and there's just big piles of garbage on it from people ruining it. So the humans have to go live in like spaceships that are like they're like cruise ships, and they're enormous. They have like rockets and stuff, and they're just sort of orbiting Earth or whatever, and they're all like brutally obese, and they have these little hovering beds, and they're all like brutally, like disgustingly fat. And then they have like the cute Pixar eyes, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to eat more food and lay down more?" And their arms are like dangling from atrophy, and they have like stubby legs that barely stick out of their bodies. Um, that's like a cute way for them to depict it. But if we get unlimited, I always say unlimited. What is it? Universal. If we get universal basic income, people are going to become that useless. People are just going to become disgusting. If you don't, again, I'll reference it again. I'll point to it every time. If you're not doing this, then life sucks. All right. So if someone is just giving you everything you need, you're going to stop doing this, and then you're going to turn into that, and life's going to be unpleasant. Is the government going to share, or we're going to end up like Elysium? I don't know Elysium. How's that going to affect relationships with women? Oh, yeah. I mean, well, no one likes this. No one's going to respect you if you are just like, if we get basic income, and everybody has their needs cared for by the government, then like attractive people are going to have everything handed to them, and unattractive people are going to be murderously angry about it because there's not going to be anything they can do because, oh, the government pays for us to have everything, so we're just free to everybody go to the most attractive person they can get. And then the the chart with the men and the women, it's going to be like this instead of like this. It'll tighten up even more. Because that'll just be the only thing left. It'll just be how attractive are you. That'll be the only thing that people will judge each other by. Oh, what do you do? Oh, UBI. What do you do? UBI. Oh, well, you're not as good to look at as the other person. Bye. Good Morning says, how does one make the jump from 7 to 8 in levels? The same way as every level. You think about thinking. Think about your thoughts. Observe your thoughts. Think about, where did that thought come from? Why do I care where that thought came from? What do I think about the fact that I care? Keep going, keep going. Iterative, iterative, iterative. When I started moving from level 7 to level 8, a lot of it was based in like my very in the moment bodily sensations and reactions, and how I know what's going on in my mind because it's also going on in my body. Let's draw the body over here. I'm not this fat, but what's going on in the mind, let's do a little square here, is going on in here too. And so I would be able to coordinate like my memories and my beliefs and my feelings and everything with also, physical sensations that are happening right now. And that is thinking about thinking. So I'm having a feeling right now. Oh, I'm angry again at a thing. Well, what am I angry about? Oh, I saw this thing happen and I don't like that because I want that. Well, why do I want this instead of that? Why do I want this instead of that? Because then I think those conditions would make this happen. Well, what happens if the bad conditions happen? Well, then a bad thing happens to me or something I care about. And why is that thing bad? Oh, because it would like hurt. Because it hurts in my body, and I wouldn't want to live through something so unpleasant. It always comes to the body. So I guess aside from just the thinking about thinking as much as you can, I guess I would say, I'm not sure if that's true for everyone, but I know for me that the step from 7 to 8 was very heavily like noticing how my thoughts were also physical actions in my body that would come with like nervousness or a hopeful feeling or a memory of something, or you drink a beer and you feel different. It's like, well, it's physical. It's a physical sensation in my body. And that really grounds it in right now, in the moment right now. Much less abstract. Alexa in the forest says, I recently experienced a glow up due to weightless. I think you mean weight loss. This would be weightless. Not massless, but weightless. I think 3 to 6. Yeah, that's probably pretty likely. I went from invisible to acknowledged by men. Yes, that's probably pretty likely. I can't help but desire plastic surgery to keep improving. Thoughts? Well, you can desire it if you want, but I wouldn't. I don't recommend it. It's false. It's fake. It's not really you. It's not actually your body. You're just like buying bits of a body to staple to your body to make people like you more. I wouldn't be happy if women liked a fake plastic face that I glued onto my face. I wouldn't be happy about that. I understand why you want, it's like addicting for people to like you and you want them to like you even more, but just, I don't know, personal advice. Just be happy with what your genes make you. And, enjoy how much you're enjoying it. And don't go cut yourself up to look even better. I think that's weird. Kyle Kogan, if you made the become man ritual, what would it be? Oh God, that's too long of a question to get into at this time of night. It's almost 2 hours since I've started. The man ritual would be very dependent on culture. It would depend a lot on who you are and what you are. And like for a lot of, I'll just give you a quick example. For a lot of like American men, it would just be, we're going to take the boy out hunting. He's going to kill a deer and skin it and come home and cook it and dry it and everything. And then everyone eats it. And they go, hey, you actually went outside, killed a deer, skinned it, gutted it, brought it back, cleaned it, prepared it, and fed your family. Like, now you're a man. That's a real easy one to make. I'm sure that a lot of them already do that. It's just not like a thing. You don't see it on TV. It's not like, oh, Americans, their man ritual is to shoot the deer. I'm sure a lot of people do that, but it's not like official. So that's just one example. Ebiosh. Oh, hello. Apfel. Ebiosh is a big fan. I don't know how long you've been here. I showed your pen. It is really, maybe I'll show everyone real quick. It is quite a lot blacker than all of the other inks, which is pretty cool. You wouldn't think that there'd be that much of a difference, but it's pretty significant. Give it a minute to dry. When you are in love, this is in this Japanese name again that I'm not going to write. When you are in love, you get vulnerable. That means you lose attractiveness. Some maybe. Is it possible to be in love without losing attractiveness? Oh yeah. How to do it? You have to like be in love in a way that makes that person happy. You don't be desperate. You just be grateful. Like, be grateful that this person is around you and be happy that you're the kind of person that attracted that person, rather than being the kind of person who is like, I need you. My life is nothing without you. That's not attractive. But what is attractive is, I'm so glad you're here. That makes my life a lot better that you're here. That's attractive. That's a way of being in love that is not, it's not need. So need and vulnerable, like what you just said, is negative. It's sucking energy. It's drawing energy. It's like, mommy, don't leave me. It's that kind of energy. Mommy, help. I need you. That is not what women want from you. But if on the other hand you go, hey, I'm pretty cool, and then you showed up and you're pretty cool, and now you're here, and that's even better. Thanks for being here. That's up. That's positive. That's how you do it. That's how you be in love without losing attractiveness. Um, and then why do we get vulnerable when we fall in love? Oh, fear. Fear of loss. There we go. Fear of losing the thing that you love the most. Fear of not being good enough to keep the thing that makes you the happiest. What if I'm not good enough? What if it's fake? What if someone better comes along? What if that's negative, 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 sucking energy, needing energy, give, take, take, take. That's why you get vulnerable, because oh no, I have a good thing. Now I might lose it. Now I'm going to think a lot about maybe losing something. Just be happy that you have it instead. Why do we get vulnerable? Oh yeah, I just did that one. Justin Chadwick says, what are some ways for someone to know if they are smart or not? I'm thinking, if you're not a smart person, how do you find out that you're not smart? Well, I mean, smart people usually get told that they're smart, especially when they're kids. So if no one's ever said that to you, that's probably a pretty good sign. Think about, what do people trust you with? Do people trust you to plan things? Do people ask your advice for things? Look at tasks that are somewhat complicated to some degree, and look at how other people do them and how you do them. Do you take a longer time? Do you mess things up? Do you, can you not figure out simple things? Look at what people value about you, what they ask you, how much they trust your thoughts, and then look at actually what people do. And so, like, for example, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm good at figuring out how to get good at things. I'm good at music. I can draw much better than this if I spend time at it. I'm good at cooking. I understand food very well. I can sing. I know a lot of stuff. I'm good at getting good at a lot of stuff. If you get old and you're not good at a lot of stuff, that's probably a pretty good sign that you're not in the top half of intelligence. You should be getting good at stuff as you get old. You got to have a list. The problem with lower intelligence people finding out that they're lower intelligence is that it's just super hard for them to process that. They just think that they're smart and no one else has figured things out yet. Okay, last question. Please, no more paid questions. I am tired and my throat hurts. Pointless Burner says, tell us all about Stripper Clothes Girl last vid. There was a girl who I met in not a great place. It was just some bar. It was just like some bar. It was during the phase of my life when I was just proving to myself that I could go out and pick up girls. And, I went out, and she had like nerd glasses, but she was really, I'm pretty sure that she used to be a stripper. She never told me that she was, but she had a stripper body. She was definitely like easy to put on stage. So she had nerd glasses and kind of like, I'm not going to draw her attractive because I can't draw faces, but she had nerd glasses and kind of like shortish black hair. And she was talking about Star Wars with me at the bar. We just had our drinks. And So we just got and we got very interested in each other, and we just sort of like made out in the parking lot that night. And then she came over a little while later, and she told me about her life. And um, there was one day, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. I guess I can say kind of a lot. But there was like we just talked on the phone for a while, for like a week or two, and then one day I said that I would make her dinner. Star Wars. She's a nerd. I said that I would make her dinner, and she said that that sounded good. And then she came over, and like I had the table set with like a plate for her here and a plate for me here, so that we could sit close to each other and have a date, right? Because I was very, very broke at the time, and so I was like, I can barely afford to feed me, so I'll just make you dinner. And I had like my chair was here, and it was all like dinner was all ready, and she just came in the door, and I should have known here that this was like gonna go wrong. She came in the front door and just kind of like took my hand and dragged me to the couch and just was like, okay, forget about dinner. Here's where we're going. Just went right past the kitchen and to the couch. And it was like, I don't know, very immediate. It was like one of those dopamine hits that you're looking for when you want success from dating. Like all those guys who, they talk about how to get laid and everything like that. That's what you're looking for. That was the dopamine hit. It was like the girl that who, pretty good looking, just skips right over dinner and says, "Here's what we're doing right now." I should have, I mean, I say I should have known, but I was still a little bit experienced. I was inexperienced. I was still like 27 at the time. And so we had a really strong connection. We started hanging out. And then one day she like calls me, and I had like the old Nokia phone, we didn't have smartphones yet. She calls me and she says like, I lost my job and everything is terrible, and they're taking away my insurance, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and I can't pay my rent. And I just went like, I don't know what to do about that, but she seems pretty cool. So like, I'll let her stay with me for a while until she gets back on her feet. And then she moved in, and I started finding stripper clothes, and she went off her meds, and she was like a much crazier than I thought she was going to be. And it was really pretty difficult to take care of her. And she was there for about 3 months, 6 months. And so that was like a big chunk of my life that I kind of lost on just trying to be supportive of someone who I just met and I thought was really cool, but she was really just like, just a big disaster. Big, big, big problem. Okay. I guess that'll do for story time. Vet your women, vet them carefully. Don't just be happy that they look good and they like you. Make sure that you meet their families and ask pertinent questions about them and stuff. Otherwise, you might burn 6 months of your life on someone who doesn't tell you all of the relevant details. Okay, that'll do it for me. Good night.